Again, I can't like name names, but bro,
Yeah,
I've
of
had
course not.
major labels like, you know, ask me to send them beats without a single fucking contract, bro. This isn't the same. Like, you have to carve out your own path, and everybody's path is extremely different.
Yeah.
And there's not just one way to do it.
Yeah.
But so that's the beauty of it, but it's also extremely difficult, and
Yeah.
it's a hell of a ride, man.
Welcome to Season 4, Episode 3. On this episode, we get to speak to the Phronetic. He is a multi-disciplinary artist born in Colombia and raised in Brooklyn, New York. He is best known for his work in the world of music production, having been a prominent member and pioneer in the live beatmaking and finger drumming scenes since 2017. He is also known for his work as a music composer, videographer, and content creator, with credits including Red Bull Music, Vice Media, Kia Motors, and more. Additionally, he is also known as an educator in the United States and Latin America, having taught hundreds of students in the field of music production. He has done this both independently and as a cultural diplomat with the U.S. Department of State. Phronetic recently announced the start of his vocal career and will continue to push the boundaries of what a producer can be and also what an artist can be. On this episode, we speak on transitioning from producing to songwriting. We speak on establishing your brand as an independent artist and implementing cultural responsibility into music. Like I always say, please, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe if you can. If you really enjoy the episode and the content, please like the video. If you're on any of the platforms, please share this with as many people as you can, as many people as you feel like it'll help. So again, thank you for watching and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the I Feel You podcast. Once again, we are here with Phronetic, the Phronetic, if I may say so. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here. For people who don't know, we met you, Project Phil met you a long time ago. It's been like, I think 2018 at this point.
Yeah, 2018.
So we're longtime fans of his, and we've been following your work for a long time. And it's a pleasure to have you here finally.
Pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah.
No, thanks so much.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
To get right into it, question about your name, actually. I guess I don't know if I ever saw anything about it, or maybe I wasn't curious enough to ask it in the first place, but like, what is the Phronetic? What does that mean? What does that mean? How did you come up with that name and stuff like that?
Yeah. So back in college, I was a freshman in college, and I was part of a rap group, and I was a rapper first before ever getting into beats, and so I was like looking for a rap name. And it was like, we were my first serious rap group. Yeah. So I was like, yo, I can't just fucking keep going off, like winging it, like with no name, man.
You gotta have a real name.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking so hard, man. And then I also didn't want to force it. So I was like, you know what? If a name comes to me, a name comes to me. But one day I was sitting in a philosophy class, and we learned about the idea of phronesis, which Aristotle talked about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, phronesis, it basically translates to practical wisdom. And it's not a type of grandiose wisdom where it's I know everything or I know how to act in every situation, but it's more so of a practical sort of wisdom about, you know, if I know that I'm lacking in a certain area in my life, I acknowledge that and I improve on it. Or I know how to behave in a situation if maybe I don't know enough. Or on the other hand, maybe also knowing how to act in everyday situations. And I thought about this concept and I was like, yo, that's exactly what I want to achieve. I want to achieve phronesis. And somebody who has phronesis is phronetic. So I was like, yo, that's it. That's my name.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
Thanks, man. It's more of like a symbol of my path to phronesis because I don't think I'm there yet, but I would like to.
It's the ongoing journey. It's like the everyday thing. That's
right.
That's pretty fucking cool, though.
Thanks, man.
I feel like we're all much smarter now because of that. That's awesome. Now that we know who you are, generally, how are you? How you feeling?
Feel good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real?
I mean, today was a wild day, you know, like I've been all over New York City today, I feel like, on a million different trains. But, you know, that's New York. That's, you know, not every day, but pretty often. So I'm good, man, you know. A little tired, but I'm chilling. You know, I'm happy.
Good.
My soul feels good. So
that's good. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, man. What about you?
Thanks for asking. Nobody's ever asked me before.
Oh shit!
Not on the show, at least. I don't think so. No, I feel good. I feel like kind of a similar day, but all inside. Like a lot of doing. You know. Luckily, I got to do it all here. Like I rehearsed earlier today. That was here. shot something, and that was here as well, and now we're doing this, which is also here.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I sometimes I forget, and I don't know if this ever happens to you, but I always dreamt of doing art, I guess, professionally, and like really doing it. And I never knew exactly what that, I had this image probably when I was younger of what that looked like. And of course it was like, being famous and stuff. That's pretty much the image that you get growing up. That's what people show you.
Yeah.
But like we're like in it, we're living the dream.
Yeah.
Just kind of like doing it, like we are doing it, like actively, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. No, it's a wild ride. I mean, like what you just said is that when we aren't there yet, we have this idea of what it's going to be. Yeah. But I think that what it is absolutely different for everybody. But I didn't fucking think it was going to be this. Like, I did not think it was going to be this, bro. Like,
that's funny.
And you know exactly how it is, man. Yeah. Like, working so fucking hard all the time. And sometimes no breaks. Yeah. And if you take a break, it's like everything can slip away from you. You know what I mean? It's like the path to being an artist isn't like a path to some professions that are out there, which are also highly respectable. Like, being a doctor, being a lawyer, it's like you go to school, there's a path, you take these courses, you graduate, you take more courses, you go to grad school, and then you do a residency, and then boom, like, you apply and you have the experience and you get it. You got
the experience, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like being an artist isn't the same. Like, you have to carve out your own path, and everybody's path is extremely different. Yeah. And there's not just one way to do it. Yeah. But so that's the beauty of it, but it's also extremely difficult, and it's a hell of a ride, man. I
mean, that's the, it's the high risk, high reward. Yeah. The board game life. The board game.
Oh, the game, yeah.
Yeah, the actual board game.
Yeah.
It's like it's funny but it's a true concept. It's like there are these routes that you can take, and although there is a really high risk of one side, there is also really high reward towards the end of it. Like, there's potential for a lot. As opposed to like taking like a learned route, which is like it's pretty set out in stone. Like, you can follow these guidelines to get, and of course it takes a lot of work, probably just as much as the other side. I just think there's like they're just different. They're different sides of the same coin in a way. Where you work really hard, and then you like get this job, and it's pretty solid. But then on the other side, if you work really hard, there's no like guarantee. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody telling you like, hey, I can give you this degree, and then this will give you a better chance at getting a job, even though it still takes like you still have to get that job. But like, this gives you a really good shot, because this basically gives you, it's a certificate about how hard you worked at this, right? With arts, it's like you get a Grammy, and that's it's like, okay, well, how like, many fucking people are like, okay, cool, I guess, man, I'll try, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's really fascinating. So you were a producer. You are a producer, but when we met you were a producer strictly making beats. Like, you were doing live beat making, and which fucking grade A, fucking incredible work every time I saw you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And can you tell us more about that live beat making scene, and then how did you even get into that? Because that's I feel like it's a very niche group of people, group of artists. Yeah. What led you to all of that?
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, when I first I didn't even mention that. So I was in a rap group. Yeah. And
no, you did say that. You did say
no, yeah. Okay. But the reason why I started producing was because in the group, like, we was just ripping off beats from YouTube, bro. And like,
so it's type beat shit.
Yeah, man. And we got to a point where we were like, yo, we want to drop a tape. Like, we can't drop this with just rip beats off of YouTube. We weren't buying fucking licenses or anything. And we were like, all right, so we need a producer. And I was like, all right, I mean, I guess I'll do it. Like, I already know how to play instruments, and like, I've been doing music for so long. Like, I guess it makes sense. So then, started making beats, but then I like really got into it. And I was like, yo, I think I kind of want to make this a career, because, being a rapper obviously has its challenges.
For sure.
Especially with making money as a rapper. And I knew at the time, like, I knew since I was a kid, I wanted to do music as my life. Yeah. But I didn't know exactly what path it was going to be. And when I found out about producing, and, you could sell beats and you can make money from producing. And I didn't even, at that time, I had no idea how many other avenues there were for making money as a producer. But at that time I was like, yo, I'm going to sell beats and I'm going to make money. And so I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. And so at the time I was really into social media marketing. And I decided that I was going to, just start putting my beats out on social media. And I had seen other guys doing it on social media. They would like take their phone and like, the classic, like, you just made a beat and you're in the studio and you got the selfie video and you're like, yeah, not into your beat. And I was doing that for a while. I was doing the same shit. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute, this, like, there's gotta be something that could set me apart. And there's gotta be a better way to do this. And then I had been seeing on Instagram, guys like Beats by J Black and Odd Kid Out. Those were the two like guys on Instagram at the time. And they're finger drummers. They play the MPC or the machine, and play all of their drums live on the machine. And I was just, or on the MPC, and I was just like, yo, that's crazy, bro. Sick. I had never seen that in my life. Like, I had maybe seen A-Rap music like once before, in passing, but like when I saw these guys doing it and they were fucking killing it, I was like, yo, this is how it's gonna be. These are the only two guys doing it. Like, there's nobody else doing it. And like, this is back in 2016.
Wow. So that's early too.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, bro. So I fucking went on Facebook Marketplace. And
classic Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Shout out Facebook Marketplace. I bought a MPD 32. Yeah. Which is a version of the MPC.
Oh, I definitely know what that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah, cool. it's like an MPC. It's like a drum machine, but it's a little bit different. Yeah. It's like, at the time it was like the most affordable one. Okay, you know what I mean? And plus I was on Facebook Marketplace. I still dropped like $80 on it.
That's a bargain. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but at the time, I'm like a broke ass fucking kid in college, bro. Like, we're talking like I was playing fucking bucket drums in the street so I could eat.
What were you doing in college?
I was studying to be a veterinarian.
What?
Yeah. And then
crazy.
This is like a whole tangent, but I like dropped out and then I like did music. It was like a whole other thing. But like, anyway, so at the time I was like fucking broke, bro. Yeah. So $80 for me was a lot of money. And I copped this MPD and, I came home and I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, I had no idea what to do. So I went on YouTube. I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do this. And then I was just like, all right. And then I just like, I posted up a video and it was like that. It was just like fucking finger drumming. And I was like, oh shit. Like, people started to be into it. And I already played drums. So I kind of had an idea of how it works. And then I just got deeper and deeper and deeper into finger drumming. And then, like eventually years later, got involved in the live beat making scene from shout out Sum Total. He was doing an event at Father Knows Best.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is back in the day now. Like 2017 now we're talking.
Damn.
So he was putting on a show. I think it was called Beach House Live, or I might be screwing up the name, but it was something like that. He was putting on a monthly show, and he invited me out to play. And I was like, yo, I've never done this
like
before.
live.
I've never fucking done this before, but I was like, I bet, yeah, sure, man. Do this all the time. Like, hell yeah, bro. And then I was like, all right, so I have to figure this out now.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, all right. So I just like put together a bunch of songs of me finger drumming and like try to put it in a coherent manner. And then that was it. Like, boom, wow. I went to the show and it was amazing. I saw like, it was mostly DJs and then it was me. But then the more and more I got introduced to all of those cats in that scene, it was like they were rocking with the SP404, which is a different type of machine to make beats. And I just like, before I knew it, I was like totally in this world. I just met all these people and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I learned about, damn, people do this. People make beats live and it's not like DJing, but it's not like making beats in the studio. It's like both. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. I never put two and two together, but like I had never really seen that like actual finger drumming until until it was the first, I think it was Project Feel and Brooklyn Beat Syndicate. Yeah. And that was the first time I had seen like a group of people all getting up there to do sets, but finger drumming sets or like DJ sets, but like with that incorporated. Yeah. And I honestly didn't even put it together until now, but I had never seen anything like that up until that moment. It just it felt natural. Like it looked natural. It looked like something that, should be happening when somebody's doing a DJ set. But, I wasn't like too ingrained in that community. So this was my first like real experience with it. That shit was sick, man. Was that the one where Buddha was tagging up was that the second?
Oh, that was the second one.
That was the second one, right?
That shit was
I think that was the first one that I might have gone to.
Maybe.
But that second one was where, yeah, Buddha. We had Buddha. Shout out, fucking Buddha, man. Odd Knowledge on Instagram.
Yeah, he's crazy, bro.
Tagging up a fucking just big thing on the side while I think it was your set, right?
Yeah.
While Phronetic was finger drumming. That was such a cool experience.
That was the crazy.
He did like the Mount Rushmore of like the heads that he. That shit was crazy.
Shout out to every artist that was there that night. It was like you guys put on a bunch of visual artists and we had the music artists, and that shit was just amazing, bro.
That was baller.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about producers making money, like, because you said being a rapper was difficult in that realm, and you can imagine why. But then being a producer was kind of like a small gateway to actually making this like an affordable thing to do. Yeah. Are you an independent artist technically? Like so you're independent. Mm-hmm. How, as an independent producer, where's your bread at? Like, what are you looking for? Just because I know there are producers watching. I know there are people that are interested in this kind of world. Like, I guess, without giving away all your secrets, where do you look for the bread?
Yeah. I mean, the number one thing is that there is no secret. It's like most of the money in the production world can come from, well, I mean, I don't want to say most. There's a ton of different ways to make money, and people are killing it in a lot of different ways. But in my opinion, the most lucrative way is to work with brands, to make music for brands. So making music for commercials.
Like sync opportunities.
Kind of like sync. It's not exactly like sync because sync libraries are all pre-made beats that companies will hire somebody to just sit there and scroll all day and find the right beat that fits for a marketing campaign.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But, it's debatable. Some people might say sync and what I'm talking about are the same. They have similarities. But what I'm talking about is working with music production houses that have deals or partnerships with marketing companies. Yeah. So, like, for example, random like, multi-million-dollar brand.
There you go.
Yeah. And then they'll hire a whole marketing team that's outside of their brand to put together a marketing campaign to convey the idea that the brand wants to convey. So brand wants to convey that brand A is, happy and for the kids. Yeah. Right. And then they'll hire the marketing company to create a marketing campaign that conveys the idea that you're happy and you're for the kids. Yeah. Right. And then their job is to find all the different artists, the videographers, the fucking musicians, the composers, photographers, literally anything that goes into creating this marketing campaign. That's their job, to find those people. And those are the people that you want to work with. You want to work with the marketing companies, and sometimes they'll have a subsidiary that's like a music production house whose job is to actually find just the musicians, or like in a production house, and their job is to work with, the videographers or, the filmmakers. And so those, in my opinion, are like the best money-making opportunities. Now, to get, relationships with those companies and those music production houses, I mean, obviously it's easier said than done.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of it, it's like just a matter of, in my opinion, like, number one, first of all, like, being a reliable person, man, because a lot of the times in, the art world, we're focused on art, man, and that's our priority. But at the end of the day, like, if you want to make this a business and you want to make a living from it, like, you have to treat it like a business. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I always say that, like, the music industry is maybe only 30% your music. Like, your music has to be amazing. But think about all the people in the world who have amazing music, bro.
So many. And I'm realizing this today, just random people. Every single day I'm seeing a new person who has incredible sound. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, look, like, amazing musicians are all over the place. But if you can manage yourself as a professional business and be a reliable person, like, you're attractive to these music production houses or to these marketing companies. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the number one thing. If you're reliable, cool. Second is if you're talented. Yeah, like, obviously you want to have talent, but also what's, in my opinion, more important than talent is being versatile. So you need to be able to create not just one type of music. You need to create all different types of music. So if you can create, like, an orchestral composition and a dope ass hip hop beat, like, you're good, bro. You're golden, because then the music production house or the marketing company will know, like, hey, this person can create literally any type of genre of music that we throw at them, and they're reliable. And I know Yeah, and I know, that they're going to answer my emails on
Yeah.
time, or they're going to,
Mhm.
sign a contract on time, and
Mhm.
they're not going to violate the NDA, which I'm trying so hard to not do, you know what I mean? And shit like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, and it's a matter of just putting yourself out there. Like,
Mhm.
it can be as simple as making a website and, like having a music reel on your website. So kind of like like a film reel or music
Yeah,
reel,
similar.
a video reel. It's like
Mhm.
the same thing,
Mhm.
like 90 seconds,
Yeah.
put in all your best work.
Mhm.
And, you could flip that in the music world by like kind of putting on like your DJ hat and figuring out, how do I put together like maybe 9 of my best compositions
Mhm.
into one composition.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe like 15 seconds of this, DJ transition, new track, DJ
Yeah.
transition, new track, until you have
Mhm.
90 seconds. Professional website, putting yourself out there, like being,
Mhm.
being reliable. And
Yeah.
before you know it, like when you meet people, all you got to do is just send them your website.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't make it hard for people to
Mhm.
listen to your music and know who you are.
Yeah.
And it's that much easier.
You make it sound casual, but it's a lot of work. And
It's a lot of fucking work.
I mean, you gave that 5-minute thing right there is so much useful information packed in one, but that's like years for you. Like that process that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because and it's great to have all the talent and be reliable and stuff, but sometimes you don't even get a chance to show that you are reliable or that you have talent.
Yeah.
And I think that, networking and making a good first impression is always going to be important. Definitely. I was actually talking to someone about this today. Shout out to Sam Kaplan.
Oh, yeah.
But he was talking about just like, what it takes to make a good first impression. And this is stuff that, they're made videos about this long ago, about these like 4 steps. But it's like you have to show someone that you are a fun person, that you have a good time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to show people that you are also serious about work and you're serious about life, and like you have like some depth to you. Then you have to be interesting, right? So that's like your talent, what you do and how you do it. And then you have to be interested as well.
Yeah.
Something that people always forget when it comes to networking is being interested in other people, not just being there for yourself.
Right, yo,
but
that's
genuinely,
a big fact, bro.
genuinely being there for other people as well.
Yeah.
Because, you're there to offer your talent, and, at the end of the day, it is to feed yourself, pay your bills and stuff like that. But there are other people also trying to pay their bills, and some of them depend on you, and sometimes you're going to have to depend on other people.
Absolutely.
And they kind of have to care about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
What rooms do you have to like get into? Because I don't know much about the production world. And I know a lot of the rooms are social media nowadays, like just being in the right social media spaces is going to do a lot. But what, especially being in New York, like what kind of spaces are you putting yourself in to even get those opportunities?
To be completely and 120 million% honest with
Please,
you,
I
not
love that.
one personal relationship has resulted in anything that has really made me any significant amount of money or any serious deal or anything like that. And I know that that's not the norm. The norm is, you go and network at events and, you meet somebody, and then before you know it, somebody just referred you. But for me, I had the advantage of just social media because I had been working on that shit since like 2016.
Yeah.
And I knew that Instagram was going to be the next thing. So I put
Everything
all
on
of
there.
my energy into it.
Wow.
And some people, like musicians made fun of me back in the day. Like, oh, you're just like one of those like Instagram dudes and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yo, like it made my career, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just because you're doing well on Instagram doesn't mean that you're an Instagram dude. Like,
right.
That's not,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that, I don't want to say alone, but that has gotten a lot of the deals. You know what I mean? But, I mean, that's not to say that I haven't gotten opportunities from my personal relationships.
Well, of course not. Yeah.
But, the opportunities that I've gotten from personal relationships were more so like live performance opportunities. So like the beat making scene, like playing dope shows. Yeah, like playing dope shows, like meeting other producers. And all of that goes a really long way. But yeah, like in my particular situation, it wasn't so much like who I knew. Now, relationships that I had started, or I guess relationships that I had formed early on, thanks to like social media, definitely have resulted like in, the family tree of like opportunities later.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely 110%. So like, yeah, it could be that for me, but for somebody else, it could be, going into a certain room, certain party, certain show, meeting somebody, and then that one relationship will trickle down into like many opportunities years down the line.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just a little different. Yeah.
That's wild. And that's like I feel like that's like the new kind of standard too, like in the industry.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah,
it can be.
I think it's natural that it is because of
Yeah.
like the times that we've been through, and also
Yeah.
like how big social media has become in terms of like our life.
Yeah.
And also one thing that strikes me as well is that you talked about sync libraries earlier. Nowadays, like you as a person on a marketing team, if your job is looking for producers or beats or music to do, like Instagram is a sync library essentially.
Right. Yeah.
You can scroll up and find anyone, and you can find people who are gonna do it just for the opportunity, which is like a good thing, but also kind of like it can be a negative in terms of just taking advantage of younger artists who aren't like established and don't have their own like.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
I mean, did you ever have experiences like that where people try to like take advantage?
Oh yeah. Like again, I can't like name names, but bro,
Yeah,
I've
of
had
course
major labels like ask me to send them beats without a single fucking contract, bro. Thinking that I remember, oh god, I wish I could fucking say the fucking label's name, but I went to it was like this whole thing. They emailed me. Also, that's also one thing before I start talking about this. It's like this is really sensitive to me right now because somebody that I really care about. I was just offering this advice to them. But it's so easy to get taken advantage of. But one of the best ways to avoid being taken advantage of is being able to tell who is serious and who's legit and who's not. And the one thing is that a legit opportunity will almost never come to you in the form of a DM. It will always come in an email, bro.
Preach.
And it has to be that way because, first of all, legal reasons.
Yeah. There
needs to be a record of all conversation. You can't be able to take it back. DM, you just unsend it.
You can just block somebody on any socials. Yeah.
Exactly. So no like serious opportunity is going to come in the form of a DM. So that's like a great way to not get taken advantage of is to just filter that out. But yeah, man, like this major label, they emailed me, they talked me up and I went to the meeting and I went there and I was like starstruck, man. It was like all these like fucking plaques on the wall of all these artists that I loved and looked up to, and they were like talking me up like, yo, we love your fucking beats, man, like we want you to produce for this person and this person and this person and this person. And I'm like, yo, and I was so fucking nervous, bro. I was so fucking nervous. And like it was just going to that meeting. And then he was like, yeah, so we'd love to like get some beats from you. And he like had me play him some beats, and I'm like, yeah, man. And then like the meeting was starting to wrap up, and he's like, all right, yeah, you have my email already, so just send them over, And I'm like, what do you mean send them over? Like, like he's like, yeah, just like stems, like send them over. I'm like, no, I'm not sending you. I didn't say this in the meeting. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, man, cool, like I got you. But I left, and I never spoke to him again. I'm not sending you I'm not sending you stems. I don't care who you are. I don't care what record label you work with. I don't care who the fuck you are. Yeah. I'm not sending you my stems, bro. Yeah. And at the time, like, it would have been so easy for me to hop on that opportunity, and maybe they weren't trying to jip me. Maybe they were serious. But, like, at that moment, it just was so many levels of wrong for me. I mean, like, I knew in the back of my mind that I didn't want to be the producer whose primary thing was just, making beats for artists and other people. And I also knew in the back of my head that I wanted to be a songwriter. That was, like, my own goal. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I don't think that I necessarily would have gotten taken advantage of in that situation. Yeah. I'm sure, because obviously things were in email, things were in writing, I knew the guy's name, he knew who I was. Yeah. I was there at the meeting. Yeah. Like I could have easily, if something bad had happened, taken action. Sure. But it's also, we're also living in a time where labels can find something on the internet who's an independent artist and hire one of the producers that do work for the label to just copy the fucking track. Literally. And that happens all the time. Yep. And so I just knew, I was just like, yo, I'm not doing this. Like, and my mom, she was pissed at me. She was like, our whole lives could have changed if you just fucking threw it out the window. Like,
but you know what? Like that is a great story only because of the unknown. And the reason I say that is because that to me sounds like practical wisdom. Because you could have easily just sent the beats. And like you said, you could have easily taken action if anything happened. But realistically, it probably wouldn't have been that easy, especially because you sent the beat. And like there was no there is no contract holding him to owe you anything about he could just say whatever. It's a label. It's a massive label against one person.
Right.
You don't have a team of people that were going to protect you in any scenario like that. You were a solo artist, like you're an independent artist. And to me, that sounds like a story that could have gone way worse, just in terms of passing that off and then like getting taken advantage of, and then being that person that's always like, I can imagine somebody who's not as like, because that was a very bold and strong move, like, and that's not something that people can do. Like I know personally, like I'll speak for myself, like sometimes I can get pushed over a little bit, you know, and not to say that this is always the case for me, but like all it takes is that glitz and glamour. Like you walk into the big exec office and they're saying that they want to do all these things for you, and you're in the space and they invited you to spend time there. Like, you know, it seems like, oh, well, this is my big shot. Yeah. And then they sign the contract where you sign your life away, essentially.
Right.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I don't know. I mean, I would be lying if I said that I didn't think about it very often. Of course. Like what could have happened. Yeah. But I don't regret it.
No.
I don't regret it. And, you know, and that wasn't the only label. You know, there's been like a lot. And the more and more that I've gone through my career, I invested myself more and more in the New York City beatmaking community and, you know, the independent production community, and people in this community just aren't yet doing what they do for these huge labels, you know, like fucking finger drumming at shows, or like SP4 cats, like doing their thing. It's like, they don't even know that yet. Yeah. So it was just like,
and I was going to say, you know what, if it was serious, if that guy was serious and he really cared about your work, he would have followed up. He would have been like,
exactly.
He would have been like, yo, what's up?
Exactly.
Like, you know, what's going on? Like, why didn't I get anything? Like,
exactly.
Do you want to do something about this? Like, let's get you on some kind of deal. Like,
facts.
He didn't care.
Exactly. So that's why I knew. He saw like a young guy.
He's a shark.
Yeah. At the time, I was I was like 23.
Damn, that's young.
24 maybe. So like, and you know, I look young already. So at the time, I probably looked like I was 16 walking up in the office.
He thought he was getting some high school kid to like jip him or whatever, and never talk to him again. Like that's what he thought. For sure.
Facts. So I was like, you know, stupid. But like, I think really it just solidified more, you know, my desire to just really want to do this independently. And that's not to say that I'll never sign a record label. No, you know, if there's an opportunity that comes up, and there has been one that, you know, like felt really good at the time, but the music that I wanted to release, they weren't vibing with it at the time. And that was kind of my reality check. Like, yo, I need to actually work on this a little bit more, like the songwriting stuff. Which is why it takes like a year to finish a song. But like, you know, it's just... every experience that you have, you make a choice and you don't go back. You just, you evaluate that choice and see what happens next.
Talking about the process in terms of like songwriting and getting things out there. We filmed a music video for a track that just came out recently. The music video is out too. It's called Sideways. And it is an incredible track.
Thank you.
It is one of your first breaches into the songwriting realm. So like you were producer, right, for this long, but you've always wanted, like you said, you always wanted to make your own tracks. I remember you posted that comment the other day. I think it was one of the pictures, and I was like, damn, that's crazy to see that somebody was like, yo, stick to making beats. Like, you're a producer, you can't be, nobody wants to hear your vocals or whatever. And now we're here, where it's out. People love it. I love it.
Thanks.
It's an incredible track. And I mean, it's incredible to see you here. And also, speaking on just getting into songwriting and stuff, you actually were invited to attend the songwriting camp with Element and Project Feel, which by the time that this is released, I think it's tomorrow actually, that the actual full documentary comes out. Not tomorrow as in like our tomorrow, your tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, it was really exciting to see you there now within the context, knowing how you are just getting into this and like really making it known that you're really about this. How does that all feel, and what led you to this moment, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels insane. Like I'm still like, I still look at the track just existing on like whatever platform. I'm just like, what the fuck? This shit has been in like my iTunes EP drafts library for like playlist for like Well, that song is actually 3 years old. Damn. I made that song in 2020. Wow. So like awesome. To see it out and available for just people to listen to is insane to me. It's like, it's just so fucking crazy. But also just to speak back to the writing camp, you know, with Project Feel an Element, like that was such a transformative experience for me because I was still like teetering on that line of like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to finally drop these tracks. But then also like, I'm not there yet. And then I was just in a room with all of these people who are just like fucking writing a verse in 15 minutes and like being totally cool with it and like going in the booth. Chill. Yeah. And like, all right, let's do it. Like, all right.
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah. And I was just like, yo, that's it. You just need to let it go. You can't fucking think about it for 80 years. Because then if you don't release it, the way that I always live my life is like, yo, I could die in 15 minutes. I could die tomorrow. I could die next week. I could have happened yesterday and I might have avoided it. Some sort of fucking Final Destination shit. You know what I mean? So it's like the more and more that you go without dropping your music, it's like you're keeping it all inside of you.
It's real.
And first of all, that's selfish because somebody else could be really touched by what you have to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But also it's like, that's your legacy. Your music doesn't die. That's the scary thing about it.
Yeah.
Once you put it out, you can't take it back.
If you click that box, that the legacy box, that the when you're releasing on the program that says this song will never be removed from the world, like it's there, permanent.
It's there, man. You can't take it back. So it's a scary thing, but it's a beautiful thing too, and it just feels really good, man.
It's very beautiful.
Finally be here. Yeah.
I'm happy to see you here.
Thank you, man.
And it feels great because I can relate heavily with what you're saying as well. Like me getting into it for the first time as well is very recently. Not having the production background either, just like going straight into this, having a completely different background. Seeing those professionals work, because I mean we're all professionals, but like seeing people who have been writing specifically for a long time, how impressive it was that they were just like, yo, Seti was like, he was there for like 15 to 30 minutes and like he dropped some of the best verses on that whole project. So I feel that it's incredible to see, and you know, we're working towards that. And I think that everybody also has a different process. Like I don't know what your process is like, but it works. I'll say that, like from what I can tell from the outside looking in. I love it, man. It's so fucking good. I want more.
Oh, thank you, man.
Definitely want more.
Yo, and your latest single?
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Chase.
Yeah. With Glooms Garcia and Ryan, bro.
Yeah.
Yo,
shout out!
You guys killed that. Yeah.
Appreciate
you guys killed that. I was pumping out. I'm like, damn! I was getting hyped in the Uber. It was the day that you dropped it, and it was like another crazy day like today.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, you know, we got it. Let's go. Yeah.
No, Brandon Glooms Garcia is an insane producer, man. He's fucking nuts. So, real quick, last year you were actually in Ecuador, right?
Yeah.
You were shooting for a cultural diplomacy program. Is that what is that what it's called? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it basically what it was is that they would send hip hop artists from to collaborate with the local artists wherever they were, essentially, right?
Yep.
How did you get into arts education in general? Like that realm it's such a fascinating thing to do.
Yeah.
Very unexpected. But also just it makes sense as well. Like how did you get into that cultural diplomacy and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I've been an educator for longer than I've been a musician. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Like, okay. I was teaching fucking, I started off tutoring and then eventually like I became a teacher and was doing shit. But like first I wasn't even teaching music. I was teaching science.
That's so
funny. Fucking bio and shit, biology to high school students and shit. It was fucking crazy. What a fucking life.
That's so awesome, bro.
Yeah.
I will tell you real quick, my dad has a private school and I actually worked as a teacher for like 3 years, teaching like third to fifth grade.
Sick.
So same.
Yeah. So you know exactly how it is.
It's a wild life.
Yeah, it's a wild fucking life.
So cool.
But I'm so passionate about education, man.
Yeah,
I've always been.
Me too.
And so it was sort of a natural shift to arts education.
Yeah.
Because when I started doing the live beat making, one of the people who were really active in the scene was Elliot Gann. And he's the founder of Today's Future Sound, which is an organization that puts on different beat making workshops that are centered around the idea therapeutic beat making model.
Wow.
So kind of like beat therapy, basically. Yeah. And
so cool. I love that.
yeah. And so I was, in the early days when I was first like starting out and like starting shows, he gave me a lot of show opportunities, but also I just started volunteering with him and his organization. But then like just coupled with like the education experience that I already had, it kind of put me in a great spot to apply for Next Level, which is the culture diplomacy program. And I was like so blessed. Like I got in on the first try, and like the first trip that I did with them was to Bolivia, and I was teaching a music production class in Bolivia that was cut short on March 16th when 2020 when COVID happened, and we were in Bolivia and we got kicked out of the country.
That's wild.
It was like one of the craziest experiences ever, man.
Jeez.
But then just like continued with them, and did other programs with them with Mexico, and then they also work with a videographer who just films the entire thing and documents the entire thing, and you can separately apply for that. And so one year I was like, fuck it, I'll just
do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Like like I love video, and like I wouldn't say it's my strongest suit, but I'm really passionate about it. I've been doing it longer than music too. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I applied, and we went there, and that was a wild experience. And it just working with Next Level as a whole really opened my eyes to culture diplomacy work, and that just how big the hip hop community really is. I mean, like they say that the biggest cultural export of the U.S. is hip hop. Wow. Yeah. And you go to places like Bolivia or like Colombia or Ecuador, and the hip hop community there is so reminiscent of like the hip hop communities that I was part of in New York, like back in like 2012, 2013, like straight up boom bap, like ciphers, like circles, like, with the fucking like Beats pill or whatever. It's like too quiet and we're all close together trying to listen. Gotta, like, yeah. And it's just like, man. It's so, it's just so close to my heart, man.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just see it in a different country. Yeah. Oh man, that's so fucking, and you forget how much hip hop matters, how much it matters to culture everywhere, like literally everywhere. And that kind of brings me to my next question for you is like, what does it look like? Because you spoken a bit about it, but like have like cultural responsibility, like being responsible within the culture. Like, what does that mean to you, and how does that translate into music? Because there are a lot of conversations going on right now about the exploitation of hip hop and kind of how bigger labels, but also the people who push culture in a lot of ways are exploiting hip hop in general, and how it's people use it to spread certain ideas or kind of like take control of younger communities. I know it's kind of a big question, but like what does that look like to you in terms of like just being responsible for that? Yeah,
I think it definitely has different meanings depending on the environment. Yeah, like being culturally responsible is different when I'm in a cipher in Ecuador than it is when I'm in a cipher here in New York. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, for example, in doing cultural diplomacy work with Next Level, like one of the key tenets of it is to really realize that you're in somebody else's community. Like, okay, yeah, maybe hip hop was born in the US, but when we're going to another place, they've made hip hop their own and applied it to their own communities. Yeah. So I can't just walk in there.
There's no claim there.
Yeah, I can't just walk in there and be like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Like, I fucking know, this hip hop shit. Like, no, I don't. For what it means to Ecuadorians or what it means to Colombians or what it means, to whomever. Because I'm not there, And so in that respect, that's to me is cultural responsibility, is being able to, take a step back and allow the leaders of that culture in that environment to really dictate how the conversation will go. Yeah. But in New York, it's different, at least for me in the scheme of the live beat making scene, because I'm seeing so much now, as the beat making scene and the idea of live beat performance comes to popularity, I'm seeing it being exploited by people who have been involved in the hip hop industry, but have not been involved in the production community. And so like, one day I'm going to make a fucking documentary about what exactly I'm talking about, because it's like, it's a really huge problem right now. Yeah. But I guess what I want to say is just like, be sure that the communities that you're taking part in as an artist who's from this community. Like, for example, like I'm a hip hop producer from Brooklyn. Yeah. I want to make sure that the communities that I'm involved with are also authentic, are also people like me. Yes. Not some guy who came in from somewhere else who doesn't even make beats and said, hey, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to give opportunities to producers and make a lot of money from it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's so easy to not recognize that because as artists, we all have ego and we all want to, in some way, bring ourselves up. So, if there's an opportunity to play a show, it's so easy to be like, yes, I'll take that opportunity. Yes, I will play that show. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, like, our selfishness doesn't allow us to step back and be like, wait a minute, who's doing this show? Yeah. What is this for? Yeah. Whose pockets is this, filling?
Where's this all going?
You know what I mean? So cultural responsibility for me, in New York is that. Yeah. Like, are we vibing with other New York City producers or are we feeding somebody else who just has nothing to do with this shit?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking beautiful. One thing that always sounds so negative but is so valuable, especially within culture, is we need to learn how to properly gatekeep, because there are a lot of people that want into those communities especially when they see a dollar. Like, they will not partake unless there is some kind of monetary value there. And there are certain people that we want to let in because they are there to push the producers within those communities or the artists within those communities forward and have them be the face of it and fund it, like actually push it. And of course there are people that need to benefit from this, right? Yeah. But there are certain people, like you're saying, that just aren't within those communities. And I can't speak to the production community specifically, but I can tell you that it's happened before with all these other different genres of music and all of these other smaller arts communities where they get taken out of the hands of the people who built it and made into something that made into something shallow. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that and making us aware that we should be looking out for that, especially within our communities. Yeah. And if something's going to start here, it's got to be by the people who, were doing it way back in, like you said, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2016, around those eras, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if not that, at least, with some sort of cultural responsibility, like in the same way that I'm talking about, like if I go to Ecuador, like I need to be able to take a step back and be like, no, like that's yours.
That's yours. It's your conversation.
Right. So if maybe somebody can provide an opportunity here who maybe is not a producer from New York, but are they culturally responsible? Yeah. Are they actually giving the voice to us? Yeah. Or is there something weird going on?
And back to what we said before, are they interested?
Right. Are they actually interested? Yes. Or are they just trying to ride a wave and make some change?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for being here, Fro. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us, and just putting us on to like what's going on within the community and how we can make a difference and also protect ourselves. I think you shared a lot of valuable knowledge just in terms of how you can be a producer within in this Shark Tank of a world when it comes to social media, and protect yourself and be powerful within those and stand up. So thank you for sharing that. Just to end off the episode, if you don't mind sharing, how can we support you, what you got coming next, basically, whatever you can share, and then if you don't mind giving us a few words of wisdom.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So
take your time. You can think about it, but you got it.
Yeah. Wait. So the first one was how.
What you're doing now, what's coming next, and how we can support you, basically.
Okay. What I'm doing right now, I'm just focused on dropping singles this year. I'm just dropping singles. Like just a bunch of music that I've been working on over the last few years. Finally ready to drop. So stay tuned for that. How to support me, man? Just stream my music, bro. Yeah, that's it. Just stream my music, man. That's all I care about.
Put in those playlists.
Yeah, and it's playlists and just like support other producers too. Like not just me. Like if we all go up, we all go up. You know what I mean? It's not just about one person. And some words of wisdom. Ooh, put on the spot.
You dropped a lot of them already, but what's the finale?
Yeah, I would just say, like, at the end of the day, none of this fucking the politics of it, the drama of it, the this and that. None of that fucking matters. All that fucking matters is the art. Are you making art that you care about? Are you making art that you're proud of? Are you changing who you are, to fit somebody else's idea of art? don't do that. Just make the art that's genuinely true to you, because all of the greatest artists, musicians in the world are respected because of their ability to change the status quo and what people expect, right? So if you think you're weird, you probably are weird, but like that's good.
That's great.
Like, just fucking keep doing that. Keep being weird. Don't be scared and just fucking do it.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for being here, Fro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for watching. You guys know what to do. Subscribe, like, in the bio and all of the, information below, wherever you find it. It's going to be all of Fro's information, and just go ahead and follow, and please support. And see you on the next one. And thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, Fro.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Go.